Make some noise for your host, Kid Copious.
What up, perps? Kid Copious. Back in the bunker, Purple State Party. You know what we're doing here. We're trying to represent America, the center, common sense, and the ability to make poppers go pop. So, forgot to mention last week, I added that in case anybody's wondering. That's a packing sticker that goes on a pallet bound for Phoenix, where now one of my friends moved. Met him through work, super kid. An awesome human being. If the children are our future, then, well, at least we know we got one good one. So anyhow, of course, everybody knows the reference, Weekend at Brandon's, Weekend at Bernie's. And that was a movie about two young executives, whose boss died. And so they basically just dragged his lifeless corpse around through misadventures. And it's a pretty funny movie. I remember it fondly, but, to each his own, I guess. But unlike Bernie, who was propped up by young executives, Brandon, a.k.a. Biden, is propped up by sleazy puppet masters and lies. They go on and on about how bad Trump was about giving a tax break to the rich, and lo and behold, what are they doing? I mean, what does that say over here? Huh? What does that say? See? It's going to allow them to increase their deductions. But forget about all them stupid numbers. Look down there. Right after the 2031. It's the second most expensive item in the legislation for the next 5 years. It's twice as expensive as the home medical services that they wanted to do. It's more costly than the paid family and medical leave program. So they're giving a tax break to the rich. Out of this massively bloated bill, Build Back Better. After all of their talk, that's what they're going to do. The second most expensive thing over the next 5 years is a tax break. Right. Kathy Griffin talking about another has-been celebrity trying to be relevant. Oh, look at the contradiction in how the police reacted. Yeah, one guy had a knife and was trying to kidnap children. And he was wanted for a sexual assault. Okay? If you have any fucking balls, why don't you read what happened? Why don't you read what happened? I mean, the facts are right there. Those policemen risked their own lives driving at high speeds with sirens on to help a black woman and her black children. And then somehow this is racist because they shoot a guy in the back. He had a knife. He was trying to get in the car. They had tasered him. It didn't work. Okay, maybe they made mistakes. They were acquitted. I mean, you can see on the video. Yeah, it doesn't look great, but put yourself in their shoes for a second. Read what really happened. Two more has-beens. I love how Colin Kaepernick thinks we should just abolish the whole system because white supremacy cannot be reformed. So how is it going to be any different next time around? How are you going to abolish the system? See, I don't like the system. I don't like the red and the blue. I think the answer is purple. So what am I trying to do? I'm trying to reach people and let them know, hey, here's my solution. We need to vote in the middle. We need to start building a coalition that's strong enough to pull off people from both sides and run this country with some, common sense. Okay? I'm just an idiot. All right? I'm nothing special. I don't think I'm speaking some sort of great knowledge, but Jesus, I'm at least trying with a solution. I'm not just writing down a bunch of words that make me sound cool so other has-beens can retweet me. LeVar Burton, tell me again that there are not two kinds of justice in America. Why? Why would you say something that irresponsible? Are you just trying to be relevant? Look at Blackness up there. She had to beg for the life of Julius Jones yesterday. Meanwhile, Kyle Rittenhouse walked free. This is not a flaw in the system. This is a design. Well, dummy, one's self-defense. One's a carjacking murder. Right there, Mr. Jones. They're crying for him. He shot a 45-year-old husband in front of the man's sister, his two daughters, in the driveway of their parents' home. Okay? He was identified. He may claim he's innocent, and they may get him off, life without parole or something like that. But he ain't no freaking hero. The sheriffs came in on a no-knock. This guy opened fire. They fired back and killed the girlfriend. Okay? That guy right there. Okay? Same thing happened in the Breonna Taylor case. Read about it. Okay? No-knock warrant. The boyfriend opened fire, or the man in the apartment opened fire. Police fired back. Breonna Taylor was shot and killed. Tragedy. He was charged with her murder. He got off. Self-defense. Okay, so two black men, okay, opened fire on the police, and those charges were dropped because of self-defense. So where's your problem with the Rittenhouse case? Okay? It cuts both ways. It cuts both ways. Okay, Rittenhouse did not get off because he was white. He got off because it was self-defense. Back in the day, a lot of lessons were taught by, Norman Lear, people like that. Through humor, through comedy. We got to see characters. My favorite show is The Match Game, okay? I got to see people like Nipsey Russell and Scoey Mitchell on there. And to me, they were just people. I didn't... Different colored skin. Sammy Davis Jr., George Jefferson. I just saw these characters as people. Felt comfortable around people who didn't look like me because we were allowed to joke. We were allowed to have faux pas. So we felt comfortable, But now, are we teaching the problem? Is that what's going on? Are we is that seriously what we want to do in our schools and on our television and on our movies? We want to teach that there's differences that cause hatred, or can we just go back to when we used to not see that and just see that two people could have fun together? People could disagree, people could argue, we could learn things. It didn't have to be force-fed. I never knew that there was such thing as second-class citizens or whatever. I'm sorry, but the shows I watched, they didn't, B.A. Baracus was a tough motherfucker, Tubbs, White Shadow, some of the other ones I've already mentioned. If racism goes away, does that hurt the Democrats? Is that why they feel like they need to keep it alive? Because that's concerning. Martin Luther King didn't dream of people being separate but equal. He dreamed of us all holding hands. And we're trying as a nation to get to a point where everybody is accepting of everybody. And just as we're on the cusp of it, right in the doorway, we're knocking on the door of acceptance of everyone and love for everybody. They come along and they want to teach CRT in the schools. They want to throw Martin Luther King's dream out of unity, and they want to replace it with division. This one really sums up the whole thing. They're mobilizing 500 National Guard troops, and Will up there says, had they done this in the first place, this trial wouldn't be happening. Yeah. But they didn't mind letting their city burn if it made Trump look bad. Think about that. You can argue it. I want people to argue in the comments. Tell me where I'm wrong on this. They let it happen to make Trump look bad. I don't see it any other way. I don't see any other evidence. Lawsuits. That bam. A long time ago, people showed up with gunpowder rifles, and they overtook the indigenous people, right? Because they had the better firepower. And for a while now, the Democrats have done a really good job of using the courts and the legal system as a weapon. And that's what we, in the middle and, on the right, need to do. We have to sue them into telling the truth. So they can't get away with just painting pictures without information. They need to be held accountable. if they're going to lie, they're going to have to pay a price for that. We stood up against nuclear war. You know, that was something that we were afraid of. And now, y'all are taking what happens in some small town and making it national and burning down cities over it. You know, a white guy kills a white guy, it's local news. A black guy kills a black guy, it's local news. A white guy kills a black guy, it's national news, and we got to burn shit down. That's the game they're playing, and they're going to give you all the reasons why supposedly that's right, but it's not. It's not right. Yes, spotlights need to be shown on people who do bad things, whether they wear a badge or not. But, you know, before you inflame citizens to burn down their city, why don't you get a few of the facts? Because the facts really do matter. The facts are the truth. And if we're not operating on truth, then eventually all the lies come home to roost. Babylon Bee. It's the greatest thing ever, really. Right up there with, like, oxygen and cheddar cheese. U.S. military switches to swords and bows to meet carbon neutral goals. Oh, man. That's satire. See, satire is a joke that specifically goes after a topic. Oh, man. Woo! I went back a picture. Biden unsure why Winnie the Pooh keeps speaking Chinese. Yeah, do a deep dive on that, because Winnie the Pooh was banned briefly in China because him and the president or the dictator or whatever they call him, they look kind of similar. Smoke detector carefully selects 4 a.m. on weeknight to malfunction. Oh, man. I love that one, because mine does hit and my dog freaks out. And it's just so much fun. Oh no, 85,000 Trump ballots found inside Biden's colon. Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about. See, you cut off the pipeline, OPEC raises the price. We have no bargaining. You know, if we were making our own, if we were pumping our own oil, right, then OPEC would have to give us a good deal because we're already getting oil here. So they'd have to give us a better deal to get it from over there. But instead, we shut down all the pipelines. We're not going to invest. We're just going to let shit fall apart. That's the plan. If the Democrats were not so wild and crazy, okay, I wouldn't have to spend so much time talking about them. They are a threat. And the reason they're a threat is because they're setting up the precedent that let's just lie. You know, let's just lie. Let's just make a whole bunch of false promises, make a whole bunch of statements, and we're rich, and we have guards, and we have big fences around our houses, so who the fuck cares? That's the action of a ruling class, of the elite, of the queens and kings, and princes and princesses, and dukes, and duchesses, and viceroys, and all kinds of fucking terms from back in those days, man, when the king had all the power and the peasants were peasants. And we have over half the country willing to just become subjects. They ain't one of me. I don't want any part of that. Okay? I still got the blood of the patriots flowing through me, man. So, you know what? You eat the cake. Because I'm not eating the cake. Alright? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going down that road, and I'm not going down without a fight. So, just remember, we need to sue them into oblivion. Because they are dangerous. Copious out.